as parents, we have wronged our own children. Why? Because back then, our parents were spiritual. And everything they did, they involved God. Most of them, either God or gods, they involved a supernatural being.
Yeah.
But this day, we are not even close to our children. Some of us live very far away from our children. We are not aware of who they meet, of what they do, the circles they get into. And so they will come up one day and tell you, I found somebody. But you know nothing about this person.
So what we are seeing here is that in our everyday life, if we ignore to consult God, we already are going the wrong path. And therefore, right from the time I meet somebody, the dating, the courtship, if we are doing these things outside of God, then there is nothing that we are doing.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. And we have, for the longest time, had a blame game. It is not working because of you. It is not working because you did this. It is not working because you didn't do this. And we forget that the basis of any marriage relationship is based on God Himself. He is the author of marriage. And so if He is the author, He has the keynotes of how to go about marriage. He understands what it means to be in marriage. He understands His will on every individual on earth. And when we don't seek God concerning our marriages, sometimes you will find that we tend to seek God when later at the later stage, where we have engaged, and this is now we want to meet. This is the time we want to meet the clergy. This is when I need my grandmother's prayers. This is where I need a prayer partner to pray for my marriage. And yet we forgot to start with God.
So God was not in the foundation.
He wasn't.
He cannot start building from
nowhere.
Yes.
From up, you've constructed. It's like the children of it's like the Babel Tower that was
exactly. Yeah.
And they thought they would reach God. And so most of the marriages nowadays, most of them, I'm sorry to say, but most of them have no, godly background. I met you today, we fall in love, and I think we can live together. You have a job, I have a job. We can share the responsibilities, and we come together, and we begin to live as husband and wife. Some of these marriages have been formed in let's say, should I call them nuclear setups, whereby parents are not even involved.
No.
A parent just comes to hear that my son got married, my daughter got married, they have a child. They have never gone to see the parents for the longest time. Some have even stayed for 6 years, 10 years. They have never gone to visit their parents. They don't even know the rural background, the rural area of each other. And so they meet in town and they think they can live together. That is why we have so many women and men grieving because of broken relationships.
Yeah.
We have entered without putting God first.
Yes. And this then, today we were discussing courtship. And this sentence that you have just uttered is what is going to be a stepping stone to marriage, which is going to be our next topic. We have, as we get into that topic, I will ask us to think about the definition of a marriage. What is a marriage? Because is it just two people coming together and staying together? Does that translate to a marriage. So this is the topic of our next episode. Now, getting back to courtship, we have discussed a lot of issues, but I would really want to give you this chance. If there's anything that you feel we haven't touched, anything important on courtship, before we conclude this conversation today.
There are two aspects that I think play a very major and crucial role when it comes to courtship, which advances to marriage. And this number one is cultural practices that we so overlook and think that they may not interfere with our relationships. But at the end of the day, we find that these different cultures have interfered with our relationships. Because remember, each culture has its own unique setup. They have their own norms. Each culture has their own evaluation on marriage and relationships. You find some cultures have very strong practices. For instance, I could mention the Kuria. The Kuria who are found along the border of Migori County. The kind of culture that there is, if you were to get a Kuria girl today and marry a Kuria girl and not understanding their background, you might not fit well. You must be able to be you must be compatible to be able to fit. You must understand this culture very well. You must be ready to understand that I am getting into something that demands this and this and that. And so cultural practices have a lot to do with our relationships, whereby mostly we have overlooked this. And the town setup has denied us that, in that we don't like going back to revisit the cultural practices that eventually could be the very thing that is breaking a marriage today. Because you find that the way I behave in the Taita community, as per the culture and the traditions, is not the same way I will behave in Migori. I will carry myself around. I will find different traditional aspects and different cultural aspects. Maybe where I come from, a lady is not supposed to show their feet. You must always be covered with a leso. You understand? And if I go to Migori, nobody is using a leso to cover themselves. In Migori, I might find that, I'm just saying, it's an example I'm using. So I might go there and find that women are not supposed to talk. In Taita, maybe women talk. So I will find it hard to balance. Because number one, I never got to understand the basis and the aspects. So you'll find that cultural, also which involves parents who carry the traditions themselves, will have different interferences. My engagement with my in-laws, my mother-in-law, how do I coordinate? How do I relate with my mother-in-law? These are the things that I should look into when I'm in courtship. I should ask myself, am I ready? Am I ready to accept that practice, to accept that mother-in-law with her traditions? You know, am I ready to accept that she is my mother-in-law? Because this woman whom you want to go and live with, literally you're not going to live with her. But remember, she has given birth to the person you want to call husband, the father of your children. And now, this person, when they take you in and marry you, you have a legal right to be part of that family. If it is a legal process, You have a legal right to be part of the family. Now, let's say, for instance, in cases like death, she's the same person who will give you land, who will donate land for your burial, but you still do not want to relate with her because of the cultural practices which you are not accustomed to. Now, you see, such things is what brings about divorce cases, separation cases, because we were not compatible. I might be compatible with my hubby today, but what if I go back to the rural? How well can I break myself down and lie low and be part of the family and be them? Because I should get out of my cocoon and be them, not me.
So when you are intending to get married, you have to look at the bigger picture.
Oh yes.
Do not just say it is you I'm going to stay with, so I don't care about the others. Because all these others will affect this marriage eventually.
Yes. And the second thing is family involvement. The family decisions and the involvement could either break or make. So you must be ready. When you are getting into courtship, understand these aspects. That there's a family here I want to involve myself with that I know nothing about. That doesn't even practice what I practice, what I've been taught right from childhood. I don't know. But now you want to get into a family that you don't know how they speak, how they talk. You have to start teaching yourself. Like me, I'm a tither. I have to start teaching myself little by little, Luo words, Luo sentences, just to understand. So that when I get there, I don't find these people talking in Luo and I'm there just stranded and imagining that these people are biting me, and yet they're just having their own conversations. But because I don't understand, because I just don't understand the language, there's a language barrier, and I don't understand what these guys are saying, I will tend to imagine they're biting me from the facial glasses and things like that, and yet they are even
people are speaking well you.
Exactly. But because there's a language barrier, which I did not take into account as I was courting, will also be a force that can break a marriage or a relationship.
And this is very important. Even beside the fact that you may think they are backbiting you, but when you are getting into such a relationship, you should know that at one point you will be in a crowd who will be speaking a language which you do not know.
Oh, yes.
Get yourself psyched to that fact. So that when you are there, you don't feel like you are being left out. Do not expect them to change their language because of you.
They can't.
Yeah.
And so now when you find the significance of family involvement and the cultural practices, the decision making towards your marriage, because it's inevitable.
Yeah.
It's inevitable whereby the parents must come in, whether you like it or not, unless it's what we call mpango wa kando. Unless it is what we call come and stay. Then at some point you might just ignore the fact that I don't need parents, I don't need family involvement. But remember, you have siblings. Even if you don't involve your parents, the mother and the father, you have siblings who will one time and another come to visit you. They will find this lady or they will find this man, and you will begin to measure in and measure out. You will begin to put weights and put a weighing scale and begin to weigh, is this the kind of lifestyle we had, our background lifestyle, and this man, does he relate with us? Does he relate even with our character? So you begin to find faults. Instead of finding strengths, you begin to find faults. And the moment your partner knows that, my in-laws come here, like to find fault, then things start falling apart. So cultural practices and family involvement is very key.
Very important.
Very important. You must be able to like just build yourself from inside, knowing that if I'm getting married to this tribe, then I should be able to be part of the tribe. You should be part of it. Forget where you're coming from.
Don't think you're going to change.
Don't think you're going to change that culture or that family.
Yeah.
You won't change it. It is you to change, to be them. You to change and to suit.
Yeah, and don't think you're going to pluck this person from their people, from their culture.
It doesn't happen.
To come and change.
It can't.
No.
Because
so you've got to be able to know all this and decide whether you are still going on with the marriage or you cannot.
That is now where I said courtship is intentional.
Yeah.
You have to be intentional about your relationship. What do you intend to get out of this relationship? How do you intend to carry it? How far do you project it? You must be able to understand such aspects.
Yeah, and I think it is very important that we know that you're getting into something which is forever.
Oh yes, it's a lifetime commitment.
A lifetime commitment. You must be very sure of every detail.
Oh yes.
Yes. So this is what courtship is all about. It's not lovey-dovey, it's about digging out everything, knowing that once you get in there, you're not going to get out.
There's no getting out.
Yes.
But these days,
and again, knowing that you want to get in there and get the best out of it. You're not getting into a prison.
No.
You are getting into a relationship.
Oh yes.
Relationship is different. You are relating. Yeah.
You know, they always say that love is a good thing. And when you get into courtship with the intentions of pure, genuine, honest love, then it becomes easier for you to run through the process. But if you get into courtship with the intentions of something else other than love, then you don't have a lasting relationship. You cannot have a foundation. You cannot have a basis for any other relationship. It ends there. Because you might say, yes, we have gone, I'm married now, but remember, because you did not have the right intentions from the word go, it cannot work. Because you will soon enough start finding faults. You will soon enough start finding that you cannot get what you wanted. It is not easily reachable. So you draw back. And the moment you draw back, what happens? You have switched off from that feeling. You have switched off from that discussion. You have switched off from that process. And so it comes as a divorce, as a separation.
Yeah.
Because something didn't work as per your intentions.
Yeah. I like the fact that you say you have to be intentional.
Oh yes.
You have to know that your intention into getting into this is to make the best of it, to enjoy yourself in this relationship and to last your lifetime.
Oh yes.
And to bring out a generation that is well grounded. It is through your decisions during courtship that the next generation will determine the ground on which the next generation will start. Yes.
Allow me to say this. When we are tying the knot, we normally have the vows that we say, for better, for worse, in richness and in poverty. I think this is an ideology that is misplaced. I think it should come during the courtship period. This is where you get to know, am I ready for this man? Am I ready for this woman? Am I ready for this commitment? It is a lifelong commitment. The moment you engage yourself into courtship and you go to the level of engagement, what does it mean to engage? It is like engaging my vehicle that was on a reverse gear, and now I want to engage it on a drive. So the moment I engage that means the car gets moving, it gets rolling. Now when I am engaged in a relationship, there are no two ways about it. That means I am locked in. I am locked in. I will not go searching for anything else out there or anyone else out there. I have committed myself into a lifelong commitment that for better or for worse, I am in this. So when we talk about the vows during the marriage, during the wedding day, I think it should come in the courtship, process.
Yeah, so that during the courtship, that is when you will know which is the worst or the worst.
Mm-hmm.
And if this is the worst, will I be able to stand
the test of time?
Oh yes. Which is the best or the better?
Mm-hmm.
And if in that better, shall this marriage still stand this test of time? So that by the time you enter, you know the worst. And you have already experienced the worst. Yes. So that you can flow with it. When it comes to best, when it comes to worst, you will be able, your foundation will be able to stand the storm.
It is
anything else, because this then is a very
interesting
juicy topic, and we may go on and on. So anything else that is important for us to bring out in this courtship?
I don't know where the saying about richness and poverty has gotten lost into. Because you see, when you're getting into marriage, you are getting into the unknown. The two parties, the two individuals, you are getting into the unknown. But you are banking on love. You are banking on trust. You are banking on hope. And you are banking on faithfulness. And so when I am banking on all these aspects, I am hoping that at the end of the day, I will make it. But here comes the issue of money. During courtship, that is where we should communicate very well about money. Because most of the marriages nowadays are not working. Because either somebody got broke, somebody lost a job, they can no longer pay bills, they can no longer provide for the family. And the issue of money has actually had another dimension whereby if I don't get somebody who is loaded, if I don't get somebody who is driving their own car, if I don't get somebody who has an already built home, what do I want? Sometime I had, there was a case where I had somebody on the internet saying that the wife was too demanding. And so the husband gets to ask, what do you bring on the table? You understand? To some people, and a larger margin, somebody would say, I think that was right. I think that was right. But it is not. It is not. Because number one, when you are getting into that commitment of courtship, remember, in courtship is not dating. This is where you have individuals, getting connected deeper, coming together with deeper emotional connection. So at that point, this is where we should talk about money and not leave the subject of money out. We should talk about money. If we get money, what do we do? If we don't get the money, what happens? If today I was to lose my job, what will happen? Ask your partner, if I were to lose my job today, would you still stand? Would you still cling to me? Remember, the Bible says that the man will cleave to his wife. But these days, I just don't want a man who doesn't have money.
Yeah, because we lay a lot of emphasis on the creation as opposed to the creator. if we cling to the Creator, He will still create those things for us.
Because we are not knowing the source.
If we cling to the creation and the end, and we do not know the Creator,
we will fade away.
Then that is it. And like you rightly say, a lot of people now get into relationships with the person who, the money, with wealth, the type of cars somebody's driving, the type of house, the lifestyle. But is that really a foundation for a lasting? These things come and go.
Oh, yes.
So if your marriage is based on these things, when they come, your marriage will be there. When they go, your marriage will go with them. What is your intention in marriage? Yes.
It's good to talk about these things.
It's good to. So that means during courtship is when you talk about everything regarding your past. Remove everything.
Yes.
So that if this person feels that this thing I have said, he does not want, he doesn't like it, then let him leave me before we get into the next step. If he goes on ahead with the relationship, then let it not bring an issue as we go along. You've rightly said, some people get into marriage with probably having a past child or a past whatever it is, thinking they will cover this thing forever. But these things have ways of coming out. So it's better you bring out, let the marriage not happen because you brought it out, than to cover it and get into a marriage and let it be the cause of breaking of the marriage. It's better to be able to confide. It's better to be able to have a partner who is a true friend, who you will be able to tell anything and everything. And this then brings us to communication, like you have emphasized. Very, very key during courtship. Even during marriage, but during courtship, the type of communication you will put into the courtship will determine the communication that you will have there.
One thing people tend to overlook is that communication is a forever thing. Basically, communication in marriage is a forever thing. When you court, when you get married, when you have children, you start a family, and even after the children have left to be on their own, communication will forever be there. And so, the basis of any relationship, number one, is communication. You must be able to communicate well. You must be able to bring out the real aspect of communication in the subject of marriage. And for a marriage to be productive, effective, and prosper, in the essence of bringing up a family, communication between the two, and God the Father, who created this marriage, who brought together this marriage, who had the intentions for this marriage. Remember what the Bible says in the book of Jeremiah 29:11, that I know the plans that I have for you. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you. But these days we have marriages that are harming one another. Why? Because we never went back to the drawing board to seek where the author of marriage is placed in our relationships. So number one, above everything else, in courtship, in dating, in marriage, in parenting, in anything, God comes first.
Yes, communication, number one, with the Creator, with God, before you even communicate with each other.
Oh, yes.
So, I think we are coming to the end of this episode. And I just want to emphasize even as I thank you for this beginning of conversation on family, which is very, very key. Communication. But the most important communication is with God.
Oh, yes.
With God, you must communicate before you even start looking for that partner.
Oh, yes. You must tell him your intentions.
Yeah.
Because you already knows them.
So that he directs you to the right place. Once he has directed you, continue communicating to God and communicating to your partner. And this then brings us to the end of the conversation on courtship. We cannot say we have exclusively spoken about everything, but we have touched on such key issues, and we are calling upon everyone. This is very important to parents, to the youth, to all of us, because at one point or another we will be able to further this communication to the right people who need it. And so this is going to be a very educative conversation as we go on. The next episode will be on marriage, and we pray that you will continue to tune in to mental wellness insights. We ask that if you have not subscribed, please do subscribe, because this is going to be supporting us to reach a far wider community. Subscribe, share with others, and once you subscribe, click on the notification bell so that anytime we upload the video, you will be automatically notified. Thank you and God bless.